Yes, welcome again, my people. This is Felix for Campbell TV. This is where we teach you or enlighten you of all that normally happens behind the scenes, what normally conspires before a movie or a film comes to your screens. Now, today we are going to, I hope first you've watched episode 1, 2, 3 on YouTube. And today we are going to cover up episode 4. This is where we are going to teach you or show you what we did when we were shooting this plane crashing scene. Stay tuned, twende kazi. Before this kind of scene is shot, what does it entail? And what does you do first before you embark on this journey? So, as a production, you have to make sure that all your crew members, your cast, even the production team knows or are familiar with the grounds that we are going to do this scene. Now, what do? We normally do something called Reiki. What's a Reiki? Or what is Reiki? Entire crew and cast. You normally go visit the location, familiarize yourselves with the location, and see what, and the director now from this particular point will get a clear picture of how he intends to direct his scenes. Now, putting in mind now this is a plane crashing scene. Actually, this is not supposed to be done in a place where there's a lot of activities, maybe people, animals. No. This is a place that needs to be far away from all these obstructions. What normally happens on this particular time? Now, let's say, for instance, we have the art department, we have the lighting department, we have the wardrobe, the directing department. Each and every department is available. So this is where now the wardrobe will see maybe the appropriate place maybe to put our clothes or our whatever's wardrobe. Normally wardrobe and makeup normally use same locality so that it's not hard for them, for the actors maybe to do wardrobe and again do the makeup. At least they are close to each other. Now, after all the departments are on the ground, now all of us are doing this thing now we're calling Reiki. And let me go as per department. Let's say, for instance, now the unit are the guys who normally set a tent where the director, we normally call it a village. This is where the director will be monitoring whatever the camera guys are doing on the ground. We normally have a feed that normally comes to the village. Now this is where the director will see whatever is happening on the ground, because most of the time the director is not on the ground. After giving directions, he normally comes back to the village where there is a monitor which normally prompts whatever the camera guys are doing on the ground. At Reiki time is the only time when the unit people will know where to station their village. And again, the wardrobe department in conjunction with makeup department will know where to fix their wardrobe tent or where they will locate themselves. Each and every department, lighting and grips crew, the generator will know where the generator will be positioned so that it doesn't give that noise to or distort sound on the ground. Again, the unit department will know where to station maybe the catering department, the extras that are on set, because this particular kind of scene normally requires a lot of extras. You know, when a scene, let's say maybe an accident has occurred, within a fraction of a minute, there is a lot of people that normally converge there to see what's happening, blah, blah. A lot of people to do whatever thing, some to save, some just curiosity, out of curiosity. So a lot of people. So we need extras for this particular scene. This is the time again we'll know the safe points at this particular location. Safe areas are areas now where we'll position the extras such that whenever now we need them, that's now the place we'll call them to come on the action set. Now let's get into this. In today's episode, we are going to learn or see or just have light moments that we had while shooting an enormous scene actually that involved a plane crash. And doing this scene wasn't just a walk in the park. It entailed a lot of activities, a lot of consultation, a lot of back and forth answering and asking until we had this scene. Now let's camp a ground tuone nini ilikuwa. we had to travel or look out for an airstrip that is not that quite busy. At least it could given us that chance of shooting without a lot of obstruction. Within Nairobi area or coast or within our main town centers, it was so hard. That is where we have airstrips or airports. It was kind of hard to find an airstrip that will allow us do this kind of a thing, because most of the time aeroplanes are going, others are landing, so the sound, the noise wasn't that easy for us to do this scene. So we traveled all the way to Kajiado. That's where we found an airstrip that was not that wasn't much of a headache to us. At least most of the activities there were minimal and or manageable. We were to be introduced actually to our navigator of the day. From our side, we normally have an AD, but now from their end, we had to have a navigator who would prompt us, teach us on how the aeroplane works, which aeroplane we are going to use for the day. Being introduced to the captain of the day. We have an actor pilot, but in real sense, for the aeroplane to go up and do all those P's and all stras, we needed to have a trained pilot. So we were introduced to our captain of the day. We were introduced to all safety precautions for the day, the do's and don'ts on the ground, and familiarize ourselves with the aeroplane, how an aeroplane works, what should we do when an aeroplane does this, and all of that. Remember, in that aeroplane, a cast is supposed to be inside. Our crew now, the shooting crew, the sound guy, the camera guy, and again the pilot himself also ought to be there. So you see, we had to be introduced to a lot of technicalities that normally conspire before the aeroplane goes up. After all these instructions and do's and don'ts, now our actor amekuintroduced kwa captain wetu of the day, wamefamiliarize na kila kitu wanafaa kujua, the do's and don'ts. Now it's a time, now we have to do this, and the cameras now has to get rolling. First, tutachukua actor wetu kwanza, tumuingize kwa ndege, tumpe a merry-go-round, a trip, a joyride kwanza, so that familiarize na hiyo environment ya kuwa kwa ndege, so that whenever we are doing this, isikuwe hard kwake tena kuanza kuadapt kwa hizo situation, yet we are doing the actual thing. So tunampea trip kwanza, aende kwanza ajibambe, like 2 trips in the air, then after that atakuja, then our cruise again done the same thing. As the crew goes to your trip ya kujoyride, the camera department are setting themselves. You know, now when the aeroplane itaenda juu, at least tutakuwa na glimpse of how it will be ascending and how it will be descending. So the camera department, remember here, we are never allowed to shoot in an airstrip or an airport with a drone. But now, after getting permission to do this, and that's why I was telling you, we really need an airstrip that is not that busy. So after getting permissions to do this, now the camera crew with the drone department too, in the camera department too, are allowed now to do their thing. At least now they will have a glimpse, watakuwa wanaona vile ndege inapaa na vile ina come down. So at least they can decide maybe to take some shots which will be used on edits, and watakuwa wanajiposition pia sawa, shajua okay, inalandia kwa hii lane, so at least they will know where to place the camera and which lenses to use for longer and wider shots or for close up.
16 that one, she's just on phone talking, then it's done. Then when that is done, the cameras inside will change. One will be on her.
So trip 1 actor ameishia, trip 2 crew ameishia, now trip 3 all of us now, the crew now wa ndege na crew wetu sasa wote tunaingia kwa ndege. Again the director now atajua position ya frame, atajua where to place his actors or actresses. If at all kuna gari, if at all kuna any locomotive, or maybe these are dialogues in, maybe we are conversing, someone mwenye ako kwa ndege anaongea na ule mse ako kwa ground. Directions are being given by the AD akiwa kwa ground,
pilot wetu yani ule
to wase wenye wako kwa ndege, so they are communicating. So the director atajua position ya kuweka, maybe let's say after they land, maybe there is a car that is waiting pick them up, so atajua position ya kuiweka, atajua if at all unafaa kutoka kwa hiyo mlango, like maybe ndo dereva hiyo gari, unafaa kukuja aje to which particular point. Maybe umebeba mdosi maybe, so at some point maybe you'll have to open, turn around, come to this other end, open for the one maybe ule umebeba. Maybe it's a deal, maybe whoever is coming na ndege na huyu mwenye umeleta kama mdosi wako, maybe they want to have a conversation. So place hiyo gari imepakiwa, ni kazi ya director kuposition hiyo gari. Atajua okay, I want this car here, I want you when this ndege itafika hapa, wewe utakuwa umefika at this particular point, and when this happens also you counter with this. So at least in the time ya kujua kila kitu inakuwa position. Bado tujaanza kushoot, it's just hizi ni rehearsals because already tumeanza kujua ndege ikifika hapa, gari itakuwa hapa, and who will do what at this particular time. And we have to start rolling. Scene 1. So join us in our next episode. At least wacha ni kunywa maji at least, then tuendelee. So stay tuned. We still have a lot in the store for you guys.